I used to think I was doing everything right. I was eating cleaner, avoiding toxins, switching out plastics in my kitchen, and doing my best to live a healthier lifestyle. But one thing slipped past me. Something I used every single morning without question. My coffee maker. And when I finally realized what was really happening every time I brewed my coffee, I was shocked. Honestly, I was angry. Because like many of you, I trusted that a stainless steel coffee machine meant safety. But I was wrong. Hidden inside that machine was something I had been trying to avoid for years: hot plastic. And every time I made my coffee, I was drinking chemicals that were slowly leaking into my body. This is not a scare tactic. This is a reality most people have no idea about. And today, I want to walk you through what I discovered, what it means for your health, and what you can do to protect yourself and the people you love. Once you hear this, you may never look at your morning coffee the same way again. 1. The hidden danger inside your coffee maker. Let us start with the part that truly shocked me. What is really inside a coffee maker? For most of my adult life, I used what I believed was a safe, reliable machine. Stainless steel on the outside, glass carafe, clean-looking, sturdy. It was a part of my daily routine, just like brushing my teeth or making breakfast. I never questioned it. But one day, I looked closer, and what I found made me feel betrayed. Inside the machine, where the water is stored, heated, and passed through, everything was plastic. The water reservoir, plastic. The tubing the hot water flows through, plastic. Even the internal shower head that sprays the hot water over the coffee grounds was plastic. And the worst part, all of that plastic was heated every single day, sometimes twice a day. That means I had been pouring hot water through heated plastic directly into the coffee I was drinking. You might be thinking, well, it is food-grade plastic. It must be safe. But here's the problem. When plastic is exposed to heat, especially repeatedly, it begins to break down. Chemicals that were used to make the plastic more durable, more rigid, or more colorful can begin to leach into the water. That water becomes your coffee. That coffee goes into your body, day after day, cup after cup, and not all plastic is created equal. Black plastic, in particular, is known to be more toxic than others. In fact, many manufacturers use recycled materials, including recycled electronics waste, to make it. That means your coffee maker could be leaching substances like flame retardants, heavy metals, and endocrine-disrupting chemicals into your morning drink. And yes, these chemicals have been linked in studies to things like increased cholesterol, reduced immunity, fertility issues, and even cancer. I felt sick to my stomach when I learned this. How could something so basic, something that starts our day, be allowed to pose such a risk? The answer is simple. Most people do not know. The companies are not required to label the internal components, and as long as it looks sleek on the outside, we do not ask questions. But once you know, you cannot unknow. 2. What the plastic industry is not telling you. Now that you know what is hiding inside most coffee makers, we need to talk about why this problem exists and why it continues. Because it is not just about one bad machine. It is about an entire industry built on secrecy, shortcuts, and silence. And the more I learned, the more I realized that most of us were never meant to find out. First, understand this. Plastic is not one simple material. It is a mix of many different chemicals designed for specific goals. If they want it to bend, they add a softening agent. If they want it to be rigid, they add something else. Want it to be heat-resistant, glossy, or black in color? That requires even more chemicals, and most of these additives are not fully tested for what happens when they are heated, aged, or used with food and water. They are added, used, and forgotten. But here is the problem. Those chemicals do not stay in the plastic. Over time, especially with heat and moisture, the bonds that hold those chemicals together break down. That means your boiling water, the water you use to make coffee, is soaking up tiny particles and residues from the plastic it touches. That water becomes your drink. And that drink becomes your daily dose of something your body never asked for. Now let us talk about black plastic, one of the worst offenders. Many manufacturers create black plastic by using recycled electronic waste. Yes, that means shredded printers, cell phones, remote controls, and computer parts. These materials often contain flame retardants, lead, cadmium, brominated compounds, and other toxins. And when that black plastic is molded into the inner parts of your coffee maker, where hot water flows every morning, those toxins are not just sitting there. They are leaching into your drink, one cup at a time. And yet, manufacturers are not required to tell you this. There is no law saying they have to disclose what kind of plastic they use or where it came from. So long as the outside looks nice and the box says stainless steel, the inside could be anything, even recycled e-waste. Now maybe you are thinking, but at least it is BPA-free. I thought that too, until I learned about regrettable substitution. That is when a dangerous chemical like BPA is banned, so manufacturers replace it with something new and untested. The new chemical has no safety record, but because it is not banned yet, it is considered safe. That is not safety. That is marketing. This practice is everywhere. They replace one harmful material with another that may be just as bad. We just do not know it yet. And in the meantime, you and I are left drinking chemicals that should never have been in our homes to begin with. This is not an exaggeration. Peer-reviewed studies have linked these plastic additives to serious health concerns: hormone disruption, immune suppression, developmental problems, and rising cancer rates, even in younger adults. These effects do not happen overnight, but with daily exposure, they add up. Quietly, silently, until one day your body starts to pay the price. And for me, that is the part that makes me angriest. We were never given a real choice because we were never told the truth. But now we know, and that knowledge gives us something powerful, a chance to make a better decision. One small step at a time. 3. I tried to find a safe coffee maker. It was a nightmare. Once I realized my coffee maker was filled with heated plastic, I made a decision. I was going to replace it with something better, something that would not expose me to hidden chemicals every morning. I figured it would be easy. Just search for a coffee maker that did not have plastic on the inside. How hard could that be? The answer: much harder than I expected. I spent 2 months researching, reading reviews, scanning product listings, and emailing companies directly. And what I found was frustrating. Most manufacturers advertise their machines as stainless steel. But what they mean is that the outside shell is stainless, while the internal parts that touch hot water are still plastic. Some of them even had the nerve to list plastic interior in the fine print, far below the glossy product photos. I started writing to these companies. I asked them simple questions. What is the water reservoir made of? Is the tubing plastic? Does any heated water come into contact with plastic before it reaches the cup? The replies were vague, delayed, or overly technical. One company even sent me a list of proprietary materials that they said they could not disclose. Another proudly told me their parts were BPA-free, as if that solved everything. It did not. I had already learned that BPA-free plastic often contains other chemicals that may be just as dangerous. That is what scientists call regrettable substitution, replacing one known toxin with another that simply has not been studied long enough to be banned. After weeks of searching, I found a couple of machines that were fully plastic-free, but they cost over $500. Some were even close to $600. And for most people, including myself, that is simply not realistic. I was not trying to buy luxury. I was just trying to make coffee without drinking plastic. And somehow, in today's world, that has become almost impossible. 4. The better, safer alternative. After weeks of frustration and dead ends, I finally found something that worked. It was not a brand new, high-tech, expensive machine. It was something much simpler. And honestly, something I had seen in my grandparents' kitchen growing up. A stainless steel percolator. Before the 1970s, percolators were how most people made coffee. They are simple, sturdy, and reliable. And best of all, they do not have heated plastic touching your water. The one I bought is made almost entirely of stainless steel. It has a stainless steel filter basket, stem, and water chamber. There is no plastic inside that touches the water or the coffee. Only clean, safe metal. Using it is surprisingly easy. You just fill the base with water, add your ground coffee to the basket, and plug it in. Mine does not have an on-off switch, so I use a timer at the outlet. That way, it shuts off automatically when it is done. And if you prefer one without any electricity, they make stovetop versions too. I also use unbleached paper filters inside the basket, not because you have to, but because I prefer to filter out the oils and avoid any stray coffee grounds. Just be sure to use true paper filters, not plastic-lined ones. Some filters are misleading, so I emailed the company to confirm that mine are 100% biodegradable and plastic-free. If a percolator is not your style, there are other great options. A French press is easy to use and made of glass and metal. A pour-over method is another clean, simple way to brew coffee. It just takes a little more patience. And if you are using a single-serve machine like a Keurig, there are reusable stainless steel pods available that completely replace the flimsy plastic ones. These are not fancy solutions. They are safer, smarter swaps. The coffee tastes just as good. In my opinion, even better. And the peace of mind that comes from knowing you are not drinking chemicals every morning. That is something no high-end machine can give you. 5. What you can do today. By now, you may be feeling overwhelmed. That is understandable. When I first learned about the hidden plastics in my coffee routine, I felt frustrated, betrayed, and honestly, a little helpless. But I want you to know, you are not stuck. You have options. And change does not have to be dramatic or expensive. It just has to begin. The most important thing you can do is start paying attention. That alone puts you ahead of most people. If you are using a traditional coffee maker right now, take a moment to look more closely. Does it have plastic on the inside? Does hot water pass through plastic tubing or drip through a plastic shower head? If you are not sure, check the manual or search online. If you cannot find a clear answer, that is your answer. But do not feel pressured to throw it away immediately. You do not have to make a change overnight. Small steps still move you forward. Maybe you use your current coffee maker a little less often. Maybe you start exploring safer options without feeling rushed. Maybe you brew just 1 cup each morning, using a French press or pour-over, while keeping your usual machine as a backup for guests or busy days. That is okay. If you are ready to make a change, even better. A stainless steel percolator is a great place to start. They are simple, affordable, and available in many sizes, whether you drink 2 cups or 10. Some are electric, others sit on the stove. You can choose what fits your life best. Just remember to read product reviews and verify that the parts that touch hot water are truly plastic-free. Some brands use stainless steel on the outside, but still hide plastic inside, especially in the filter basket or handle. So be sure to double-check before you buy. If you are using a single-serve pod machine like Keurig, You do not have to throw it out. You can switch to reusable stainless steel pods instead of the wasteful plastic ones. They work the same way but are much safer and better for the planet too. And if you love strong, rich coffee, a French press or pour-over might become your new favorite morning ritual. Whatever you decide, give yourself credit for caring. Most people go their entire lives without thinking about what is leaching into their food or drink. But you are here. You are learning. You are taking control of your health, one decision at a time. And while we cannot eliminate every toxin in the world, we can choose not to invite them into our homes. That includes our kitchens. That includes our coffee. So, what can you do today? You can pause. You can look at the things you use every day. You can ask better questions. You can make one small swap. Maybe it is your filter. Maybe it is your brewing method. And let that be enough for now. This is not about perfection. It is about progress. Every small step matters, especially when those steps are made with intention, care, and love for your own well-being. I promise you this, once you make that first change, the next one becomes easier. And each cup of coffee that comes after will not just be warm and comforting, it will be a quiet reminder that you chose better for yourself, that you are protecting your health in small, powerful ways, and that, my friend, is how real change begins. 6. Is your decaf coffee as safe as you think? As we grow older, many of us choose to switch from regular coffee to decaf. It makes sense. Maybe your doctor suggested it for your blood pressure. Maybe caffeine started affecting your sleep. Or maybe you just wanted to cut back, but still enjoy the comfort of your morning cup. Decaf feels like the healthier choice. And in many ways, it can be, but only if you know what kind of decaf you are really drinking. Here is something most people do not know. Not all decaf is made the same way. Some companies remove caffeine using only water and thyme, but others, they use industrial solvents, the same kinds of chemicals used in manufacturing and paint removal. One of the most common solvents is methylene chloride. It is a powerful degreaser and has been linked to nervous system problems and even increased cancer risk in high doses. And while the levels in coffee are technically considered safe by regulators, the truth is, we are still drinking something that was processed with a chemical many of us would never allow under our sink, let alone in our body. The safer option is called Swiss water process decaf. It is chemical-free and uses only water, temperature, and thyme to gently remove caffeine from the beans. No solvents, no residues, just coffee made with care. You will usually see the words Swiss water process right on the label. If it is not there, it probably is not that kind. You do not need to stop drinking decaf. You just need to know where it comes from and how it was made. If you are drinking it every day, those details matter. Especially as we get older and our bodies become more sensitive to the things we used to handle just fine. So next time you pick up a bag of beans or order a cup at your favorite cafe, ask a simple question. Was this Swiss water processed? That one question can help you avoid a daily dose of something your body does not need. 7. What about those coffee pods? Many people today use single-serve coffee machines. They are quick, easy, and convenient, especially if you live alone or just want one cup. And for older adults, that convenience can be a blessing. No heavy pots to lift, no messy grounds to deal with. Just pop in a pod and press a button. Sounds perfect, right? But here's the problem. Those plastic pods are not built for health. Most single-use coffee pods, like the ones used in Keurig machines, are made of thin plastic that gets heated quickly. Inside that pod is not just coffee. There is often a mesh lining, glue to seal it, and sometimes even an aluminum top. All of that material is exposed to heat and pressure during the brewing process, and that heat can cause chemicals from the plastic or glue to leach into your drink. Even worse, because the brewing happens under pressure, those chemicals may be forced into your cup faster than they would with a slower method like pour-over or percolator. So, while you are getting a convenient cup, you may also be getting a mix of unwanted additives, things your body definitely did not ask for. There is also the issue of waste. Millions of pods are thrown away every day. They are difficult to recycle, and many end up in landfills, where they sit for decades. But do not worry. You do not have to give up your machine entirely. If you love your single-serve coffee maker, you can switch to a reusable stainless steel pod. These are small refillable pods that you fill with your own ground coffee. They work exactly the same, but without the plastic, glue, or waste. My own mother uses one of these, and she loves it. She fills it the night before, pops it in the next morning, and washes it out when she is done. Simple, clean, safe. Sometimes, making a better choice is not about giving something up. It is just about choosing a better version of what you already enjoy. 8. The creamer conversation. What are you adding to your coffee? For many people, coffee is not complete without something creamy and sweet added to the cup. Maybe it is powdered creamer, flavored syrup, or one of those little single-serve cups. It makes the coffee smoother, a little more indulgent, and for some of us, a little more comforting. Especially as we age, we tend to stick to what we know and love. But here's the thing. What you add to your coffee matters just as much as the coffee itself. Many popular creamers, especially the shelf-stable powders, contain hydrogenated oils, artificial sweeteners, chemical thickeners, and even preservatives that have been linked to inflammation, gut discomfort, and blood sugar spikes. These additives can build up over time, and for people over 60, they may affect digestion, energy, and even memory in subtle ways. Flavored syrups are often no better. They tend to be made with high fructose corn syrup, synthetic flavorings, and artificial colors. These ingredients offer zero nutritional value, but they are still entering your body, sometimes multiple times a day. So, what can you do? You do not have to drink your coffee black. There are better, gentler ways to make it taste just how you like it. Without the chemical overload, try using a splash of real milk, unsweetened oat or almond milk, or a small spoon of pure maple syrup or honey. You can also flavor your cup naturally with cinnamon, vanilla extract, or even a touch of nutmeg. These options are not only safer, they are delicious. And the best part? These natural flavors often remind us of homemade treats and simpler times. They bring back the feeling of real comfort, without the hidden ingredients. So, before you reach for that bottle or packet, just ask yourself, is this helping my body, or just adding clutter to it? You deserve coffee that loves you back. We are not here to panic. We are here to pay attention. Coffee is not the enemy. It never was. For many of us, it is how we start our mornings. It is how we connect with loved ones. It is how we take a quiet moment for ourselves before the rest of the world wakes up. That ritual does not need to disappear. It just needs to evolve. Our bodies change over time, so should our habits. And the truth is, even small changes, like switching your coffee maker, using a safer filter, or choosing a better creamer, can make a difference. Maybe not in a dramatic overnight kind of way, but in a slow, steady, quiet way that supports your health, your energy, and your peace of mind. I am not here to tell you what to do. I am here to offer what I have learned, because I wish someone had told me sooner. And if this helps even one person avoid years of invisible exposure to harmful materials, then this conversation was worth it. If you found this helpful, feel free to share it with a friend or someone in your family who still uses that old reliable coffee maker without knowing what is really inside. And if you want to learn more about keeping your kitchen safe, I have another video about everyday products that seem harmless, but may be quietly working against your health. I will link that next. Thank you again for spending this time with me. Stay curious, stay well, and enjoy your coffee, the safer, smarter way. Until next time.